Good evening, my renegades. Welcome back to Rogue Radio. My name is Sarah Jane, and today is another episode of the PEDO-FILES. Yes, it's been long awaited. Yes, I haven't done this in a very long time, but I got one in the file cabinet ready to talk about. And, yeah, let's just open it up. Let's just do it. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or just want to add into anything that I talk about, my email is rogue.radio04@gmail.com, and other links to all of my other platforms will be in the links in the description below. Thank you very much. If you are at all interested in supporting Rogue Radio, if you like what we do, if you like what we are putting out for you and all the information that we give, we have a GoFundMe. Every donation that we do receive will be put towards missions and also the expansion of our YouTube channel and our Anchor. Missions is something that me and my husband believe in. We want to help people overseas, and seeing that there are many countries that do listen to this podcast, we want to be able to give back to you as well. And giving into missions and mission work and missionaries is something that we want to do. Our GoFundMe page will also be in the description below, so be sure to click and donate. Thank you very much. We love you very much. Just to let you know, I have been uploading older podcasts up on my YouTube channel. I'm trying just to keep up with everything because it's been a while since I've been allowed to re-upload everything. I am not monetized on YouTube because I don't believe in censorship when it comes to talking about news and things that you guys should know. So YouTube may actually try to block certain comments from me seeing them on the comments section of my videos, but just let you know that I do see what you comment, and I do try to reply as best as I can. I may contact you directly on your YouTube channel, whatever. I'll do my best. Thank you very much. Okay, today we will be learning about Josh Duggar, and Josh Duggar has been recently in the news because he got arrested. Homeland Security was involved as well. He was arrested for possessing and receiving child pornography, and honestly, I might get demonetized because I said child pornography on YouTube, but I don't really care. So we're just going to get into it. We're going to talk about who the Duggars are and all of that. So, who is Josh Duggar? Son of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. They were stars, the couple of the TLC show 19 Kids and Counting. Josh is one of 19 kids that Jim Bob and his wife have. Josh admitted to his father that he had molested his younger sisters along with a few other girls that are not related to the family. He was scolded, but nothing would come of it. No punishment from his father. They've been public figures for so long. I want to say the show ran for 9 seasons until it got canceled because of the scandal. His dad, Jim Bob, ran for Senate seat, so he could have been in politics, which we know if Josh was in that politics foothold, it would be a lot easier for him to do what he does to children, because we all know that some politicians are also able to get away with all of this stuff. And I'm kind of glad that his father didn't get Senate seat at all. All of this would have been part of the problem, and it's been going on for years and all of that. So, yeah. Let's see here. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar are part of the Quiverful movement. Quiverful movement is a very old-fashioned take on Christianity. It's where they believe that all children are blessings from God, and that the best way to spread the gospel is to multiply and indoctrinate that child early so that they can multiply and indoctrinate their kids as well. So it'll be like an endless cycle of indoctrinated children over and over and over again, and it's somehow, some way, the world is full of these indoctrinated children that, love the Lord and all this stuff. I'm fine with, a Christian family. There's nothing wrong with that. The one thing that I have a problem with is that, it also says that the wife cannot have a job. Her job is to be in the home, which I agree with, but, I'm a wife, I have a job, and there's no problem with that. I also don't have a problem with a woman having as many kids as she desires. As long as you compromise with your husband and you guys are okay with it, you guys are financially stable, morally stable, and able to focus on those children individually in order to work on their needs, their wants, their desires, what they want to do in life, and give them enough attention and love, that's fine. You can have as many kids as you want if you are actually capable of doing that. But I know for a fact, because I've researched the story, that the Duggars do not do that with their 19 kids. And not only that, the Quiverful movement is coincidentally, it kind of has some Naziist views as well. The only reason why I say that is because there is a pamphlet out there called Kischer or something like that in German, that says like the ideology of what a Nazi should be doing, where they have to have wives and have multiple children and indoctrinate their children to be a Nazi. And it's just screwed up. Not only that, Quiverful movement does have some crazy ideologies, like out there stuff, and I don't really want to get into that, but but they do believe that the wife should not have a job. Her job is in the home. Girls should dress modestly and not date until after marriage. I don't have a problem with my kids dating, as long as they're not, having sex before marriage. It's fine. You can go out and date. How do you know, when? I don't know. I don't want to restrict my kids so much to the point where they're antisocial, they're afraid of life, and all of that. And I feel like these ideologies, these values that they uphold, make their kids like that. I lived in a very religious home, and I was afraid to even go on a date with a guy because I felt like, oh, what if I slip up and have sex with this person? No, that's the problem with religion. It makes people scared of life. It restricts people so much to where they're not letting themselves be free. That's the problem why I have a problem. I have a problem with religion. That's the main reason. But women should accept every child as a blessing from God, and having a lot is immoral. Listen, like I said, you can have as many kids as you desire as long as you are able to teach these kids the right way without spreading yourself too thin. I just feel like the woman should have a say in how many kids she can have, because my mom actually really loved this show, 19 Kids and Counting. That was like her favorite show. This was before we knew about the whole scandal of Josh Duggar molesting his sisters. And, yeah, I have seen Michelle Duggar struggle having their last child, their 19th child, and that 19th child actually had some health problems. You know, that child was holding on. And that's one of the main reasons why I say, like, if you're in this Quiverful movement, just get out, okay? Because it's just, it's wrong to me for someone as a mother to have so many kids to the point where she's exhausted, that her health is not being considered, and that the baby's health is not considered. And I hate that. I hate that, because Michelle should know her limit. And, you know, I just don't like that. But anyway, Michelle and Jim Bob, like I said, have 19 kids. All right. Ran for 9 seasons and ended in 2015 when the molestation came to light. Jim Bob ran for Senate seat as a Republican and lost. The main reason is because he had some very extreme views about how America should be run, how the country should be run. So he believed in the elimination of public education, meaning he encouraged parents to, you know, push homeschooling on their kids, like encourage their kids to be homeschooled in order for their parents to teach them the way they want to teach their kids. I don't have a problem with that. The only problem is not everybody is going to be for homeschooling, you know. I personally would love to homeschool my kids, or have somebody that will homeschool my children that I trust wholeheartedly. Because we have these awful courses now of education where they're learning about critical race theory and Satanism and learning how to be gay and all of this stuff, and I don't feel like they need to learn that. I feel like there's a certain curriculum that should be taught in public schools, yes, but when it comes to morals and stuff like that, when it comes to religion, when it comes to racism, and when it comes to sexuality, I want to be able to teach my kid that. And the public school should never have that foothold on my child's learning when it comes to stuff like that. So, to a point, I understand where Jim Bob is coming from. He is against abortion and expresses that the rapist should be put to death, and and adoption should be a primary option. I agree with that as well. I hate rapists, I hate pedophiles, and I hate murderers. The only problem is we need to be able to give those people a chance to recover from their mental insanity. And the reason why I say that is because I work in the mental health field. I see some people come in with some very serious issues. Nothing to this extent, but they do end up coming in as drug addicts, or they have been under domestic abuse and all of this stuff, and they have to recover in order for this to not repeat with them. I believe in generational curses, so I believe in breaking that curse, because in order for something to be put to light that is negative in somebody, it has to have some sort of root. That's what I believe in. So when it comes to a rapist being put to death, I feel like if they are to the point where they cannot return to normalcy, I believe that, I don't think that they should get the death penalty. I think they should just be locked up forever. But because I don't want to wish death upon anybody, and I know that I have expressed like how much I hate pedophiles. I wish that they would just go to hell. I do. I hate pedophiles. I hate rapists. And I hate murderers. I hate people who decide to take a life and play with it or kill it or victimize it. I hate that. Especially when it comes to young children, I feel like they deserve the worst punishment ever. But the Christian side of me says, you have to forgive them. And I understand that, and I'm doing my best. And I know I might be demonized on YouTube or on Anchor because of the way I'm saying this, but just know that I still hate pedophilia, murder, and, rape. I do. I hate that with a passion. But it's still a soul that could be saved. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. He also says that rape and incest should be treated as capital crimes, which I believe should happen. Yes, I believe that as well. The only problem with this is that it's the hypocrisy for me. All the while, Josh was molesting Jim Bob's children and others when Josh was 14 years old in 2002, and they knew about it. They knew about this, and they did nothing. And we're gonna keep going into it. I just want to be able to get this all out in one swoop because I recorded it before, I lost the recording, so now I gotta redo everything. But police received an anonymous call in 2006 of they received a tip like, hey, Josh Duggar has been molesting his sisters and some other girls. Family was not willing to tell anyone unless they found out. The caller recalls 3.5 years ago, Josh molesting younger girls and his sisters while they were asleep, once outside the house while they were awake, and while teaching kids to read. So, for those of you who don't know, if I haven't mentioned, I don't think I did, Josh Duggar was entrusted to homeschool not only his sisters, but also his neighbor's kids, the friends of the family's kids. And he was molesting these children. They were to be interviewed by Oprah, like the family was supposed to go on to the Oprah show, right? But that was canceled due to an email sent to the studio, and it reads, before you air the Duggar family from Arkansas with blank, because the names were redacted in this email. You need to know they are not what they seem to be. Blank has molested blank while blank was asleep, and parents have been hiding this secret for a long time. Jim Bob lies to his church and his friends to make him look good. At this moment, he is in trouble with his church for lying about and things that concern the way the church has reacted to it. I think you should know the truth before they make a complete fool of you and your show. They have been on TV for a long time and have come across as the perfect family, which couldn't be further from the truth. They jump from show to show to receive gifts for their family and make them look really good too. Please consider this and confront them about their secret. So yes, that anonymous tip and that anonymous email, it helped gain momentum with the news of what was happening within the family. Following the email, Michelle and Jim Bob were brought in for questioning. Jim Bob admitted that Josh came to him upset, admitting to the crime that happened in March 2002, but this happened 4 to 5 times. This happened repeatedly. This happened more than once, meaning, okay, I still hate the fact that even somebody has decided to molest a child once, and that was like that was it. I just feel like you have to have some sort of moral in order to stop you from that. But in order to do it 4 to 5 times, you got a problem. I mean, of course you have a problem when you do it once, of course. But I just hate it. I hate it so much. For you to repeatedly molest your sisters 4 to 5 times is evil to me. It makes me want to cry. It makes me want to puke. It's disgusting. That tells me that Josh Duggar, Jim Bob's son, was premeditating this. He was doing this repeatedly, meaning he was thinking about it as he was, he was planning it. You don't just plan to do it once. You plan to do it 4 to 5 times? This is premeditated. These girls, these sisters have fallen victim to their older brother that they're supposed to look up to. The older brother was supposed to protect them and, nurture them and teach them and help them raise up. I believe that the son is supposed to be the example of the father. That's what I believe. But, what's Jim Bob doing for Josh to be an example of his father? I believe in generational curses. I don't know if I think I might have repeated this, but I believe that everything negative within a family, whether it be pedophilia, molestation, murder, rape, there has to be some sort of root problem within the family bloodline. That's what I believe. Because I don't believe that something just gets birthed into somebody unless they're demon possessed. Alright. I believe that generational curses exist. That's just how I believe. Things run in the family, not just with your dad has blue eyes and now you have blue eyes. It goes farther beyond that as well. You can have the same characteristics as your father or your mother. You can have the same looks as your mother or father. You can also have the same problems as your mother or father. Okay? Alcoholism can run in the family. That is a generational curse. Addiction can run in the family. That is a generational curse. Because if you understand it like this, let's say you have a mother and a father, and the mother is a drug addict. Father does everything that he can to support the mother in recovery, but the mother fights it and she stays a drug addict. That example, and they have a child, right? They have a child, they have you, right? Okay? This is just an example. The way a mother is to you, that example of a mother has been botched because she is not living the right way. She's not getting the help that she needs. She's not recovering the way that she's supposed to. And because of that, that child can sometimes go the same direction, go down the same path. And I say sometimes because it's not always proven that every child is going to end up a drug addict just because one of their parents has been a drug addict. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that sometimes, depending on the child and the condition of that child's heart and how they've been taught and the environment that they've been raised in, it is likely for that child to become a drug addict and become a mother themselves, or a father themselves and become a drug addict or an alcoholic. Because I believe that the parents should be the moral example of what a good person should be, a good, upstanding Christian person should be. So when it comes to fighting your addictions and fighting all of that stuff, you better learn how to recover quick before you have children, because your children see you as an example of a good person or of a person in general. And if you cannot do that, you have to be able to recover from those curses and those addictions in order for your child to grow up better than you. That's what I believe. And I know a lot of people don't believe in generational curses. That's fine, but this is what I believe. Don't tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm really passionate about it. I'm really sorry. I really am. I believe in that, because it's happening in families more than we believe that it is, and it's biblical. It happens. It will always happen. And it makes me believe that whatever generational curse is going on in the Duggar family, Josh has become that example of somebody in the family. It doesn't necessarily have to be the parents. But yeah, this is a learned behavior. And I believe that someone around Josh, unintentionally or intentionally, taught him how to do this. Maybe Josh Duggar was also molested as a child at some point in his life. It all depends. But this was repeated and ongoing behavior, and the parents were aware and enabled the behavior. They allowed it to happen. Later on, Jim Bob met with elders of his church and told them that Josh had admitted to molesting his sisters and a few other girls. Elders suggested to put him in a treatment program, but the father worried that his son would be exposed to other offenders while getting treatment there. One treatment center that was suggested was Piney Ridge, but they refused. Their son is a predator. Okay, he's hurting children repeatedly. You have to be able to get that taken care of as soon as possible. Okay, as soon as possible. And they are literally refusing the help. He should have gotten the best possible treatment offered, but they were too concerned that he would be taught in a secular way. And listen, I believe in teaching your kids about how... I just believe, like, if you're a Christian in a Christian home, you should be able to teach your kids about Jesus Christ and how loving and forgiving Jesus is, just how to teach kids about Christ and be good Christians. And I believe that everybody needs God, to be perfectly honest. But when it comes to a treatment center, if your child is going through some sort of addiction, if your child has fallen victim to something like this, there's nothing wrong with taking your child into a treatment center. Especially when it comes to stuff like this, because I work in the mental health field, like I said. I see stuff like this sometimes that are very serious. But the thing is that if you want help, of course, if you're a Christian family and you want to be able to spiritually help your child, I am all for it. But there also has to be somebody that is credible, who is a mental health professional, that can help get into the mind of your child and understand why your child is doing this, understand why your child is depressed or addicted to certain things like this. Because if not, this is going to be repeated over and over and over again. And because of the ignorance of this family, like, I'm sure there are Christian programs that can help their child spiritually and mentally. That's just what I believe. I believe that if you're a Christian family, you should be able to get the best treatment possible for your child spiritually and mentally. If you want to take them to a treatment center, or if you want to take them to a certain summer camp or something in order for them to learn that this is wrong, but that God still loves them and that they can be forgiven, go ahead and do it. But there has to be a credible therapist, mental health professional, psychiatrist, psychologist, policeman, security guard in that facility in order for it to be credible to be a treatment center. If not, it's not a treatment center. I mean, like I said, you can do whatever you want with your children. You can teach them however you want, and if you spiritually believe that they don't need to be in a treatment center, that's fine. If you can handle focusing on your child individually and what is going on in their mind in order for them to act a certain way, if you are capable of doing that, I applaud you, okay? I'm all for parents being involved in their child's lives to where they teach them not to harm other kids, other people. But, like I said, the Duggars, they're ignorant. They did not do that. He was sent to a place called Little Rock, which was a housing company run by his father's friend. A housing company run by his father's friend. Instead of a treatment center, or instead of spiritually sitting down with this child and praying over this child, or praying for this child, or even taking him to church to be prayed over, or have like sessions with the pastor. And I know that sometimes like that can be a problem because we know that pastors can sometimes be pedophiles. We have no idea what happened for Josh Duggar to be this way. I'm just saying that it's wrong and it's a repeated thing, and he's still doing this stuff to this day. This is why I'm angry. Anyway, he went to a treatment program, alright. He learned how to build houses with this, with a friend of Jim Bob's. So, he stayed there for about 3 months. No mental health professionals, no psychiatrists, no therapists at all. Which is the problem. Which I believe is the problem. He stayed there for 3 months, nothing else to do according to the father since he went to a program. He was welcomed back into the house, still working with kids and homeschooling with children, teaching them to read, teaching the same children that he abused. If I had a mic, I would drop it. Cue the advertisement. Yes, listen, just listen, please. You want to know how I make some unique podcasts? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. For one, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and they're easy to use. Anchor will distribute your podcast for free so that it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download your free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's really fun. Come and join the Renegade family, alright? A police officer gave Josh a stern talking to after being informed of his 3 months at this housing company. And the police officer was a close friend of Jim Bob's, that's no surprise. But got arrested a few months or a few years, it just depends. Got arrested for possession of child porn. This police officer, who was a close friend of Jim Bob's, okay? He also got a 56-year sentence for possessing child pornography. So that tells me the reason why Josh Duggar has not been properly punished is because this officer that gave Josh a stern talking to was encouraging his behavior. An investigation in 2006, they interviewed the children, but no one was admitting to anything. And in the state of Arkansas, I guess, there's a 3-year statute of limitations on sexual assault charges, and the interviews were useless because there's a 3-year statute of limitations, meaning it can only be investigated for about maybe 3 years for it to be credible. Meaning, and because the interviews were run just outside that limitation, the case couldn't be taken any further because of that. And I don't like that. I feel like if there's still a problem going on, it should still be investigated, whether or not it was 3 years ago or 10 years ago. If it's still an ongoing problem, we still have to investigate so that no other children are victimized. But Josh went to a Christian homeschooling convention at 18 where he met Anna. May or may not have been aware. She may or may not have been aware of his misdeeds and got married in 2008, around the time the show aired. Josh flew to another state to propose to Anna on her 20th birthday because she believed that she doesn't want to get married until she's like 20. So he decided on her 20th birthday, we're gonna get married. Like, hey, marry me. She said yes, of course, and now they have 7 kids whose names all start with M. So I know I didn't emphasize this earlier, but Jim Bob's family, all their kids' names start with J. So now Anna's children all start with M. Yeah, I don't know. Things simmered down for a little bit, so all of the scandal and all of the stuff that happened behind the scenes of the show kind of, I wouldn't say got forgotten, because this hasn't actually come out in the news yet. Everything that I talked about has not come out on the news yet at this time. And it's weird. It's weird. But in 2015, the investigation on Josh Duggar became more famous. So in 2015, okay, so this started in 2002, escalated in 2006, and now has become public in 2015. The investigation on Josh Duggar became more famous and well known, and it reached the public. TLC canceled the show and renamed it Counting On. And yeah, so we also know that Josh Duggar has molested a child at 5 years old. It was his sister. I want to say it's probably his youngest sister, which I absolutely hate. He made a public apology stating that he acted inexcusably. So he did apologize. He made a public announcement like, hey, yeah, I did this. I'm really sorry. I regret everything. You know how public apologies go. I mean, you've seen YouTubers apologize and then decide to do the same thing because now he's been forgiven by the public. I wish this was the end, but it isn't. Then comes the Ashley Madison case. The Ashley Madison case. Okay, Ashley Madison was a website used for married couples to cheat on each other. So it was a paid membership, which means the customers actually premeditated cheating on their spouses. So this website was pretty famous, pretty well known, and a lot of people flocked to pay to cheat on their spouses for whatever reason. And in the same year, 2015, the website was hacked and a list of customers' names were leaked. Christians, celebrities, and Josh Duggar was on the online list of people who actually paid for this service. And after this, Josh checked himself into a long-term treatment center for sex addiction, stayed till 2006, 2016, so about 8 months. So, during that time, other scandals came out. We know that Josh Duggar, it's been said that he's been sleeping around with prostitutes. One woman came out and said that her child was Josh Duggar's, and all of this other stuff. So there's minor little scandals that came out because it was starting to come out in the public. People thought that they could piggyback on the wealth of Josh Duggar and all this other stuff, and some of it might have even been true. Just recently, news got out that Josh Duggar, this was 2 weeks ago or a few weeks ago, that Josh Duggar was arrested for possessing and receiving child pornography of children under the age of 12. And he pleaded not guilty, people. He got out on bail. This monster is still out there victimizing children. And this is the most horrific part. This is something that I have to talk about. I hate talking about this just because it is so awful what these children go through when they are victimized, when they're abused, and when they are raped and touched and molested. Children should never, they don't deserve this. Oh my God, this is just making me so upset. 265 photos of children naked and a file that depicted sexual abuse involving children as young as 18 months and as old as 12 years. This man has 7 children. Think about that. Think about that. He has 7 children. He has 7 children. What on earth? That's like molesting your own child, Josh. Which I'm probably sure you're doing that as well and you think it's fine. Harold Faulkner, Special Agent of Homeland Security, stated that it was in the top 5 of the worst he has ever had to examine. So people who are involved in Homeland Security, who have to investigate stuff like this, they actually have to examine the photos of the children that were victimized, hurt, and raped. And it is a very, very important job, and anybody who is in that job field, dude, you deserve an award or a freaking medal, because you literally have to look that in the ugly face, and you have to examine and figure out where these pictures come from and who decided to distribute them. That way you can find out the root problem. Like I said, generational curses have to be found, have to have a root problem. These people who are investigating stuff like this and have to examine this, they have to find the root of where all of these pictures and all this pornography came from in order to save children. So they're literally curse breakers themselves. So don't tell me that there is no such thing as a generational curse. He was very sneaky about this. Anna had uploaded software to restrict him from watching porn. He found ways to use programs to bypass the program. He partitioned hard drives and so that programs in the computer wasn't aware of one another. He was lying about staying late at work and downloading his material, including rape porn and violence towards minors. The family will not talk about it. They will not talk publicly about it. They won't. Anybody, oh my God. Listen, I'm sorry. If you victimize a child, you are not in my life. If you victimize a child and you're not sorry about it and you're not trying your best to freaking recover, and I see that you're not making any progress, you are not my family member. You are not related to me. You are out of my life completely. The family will not talk about it. They just swept it under the rug. And, this is more common than you think. A lot of families, especially Christian families, okay, yes, I'll admit it. I'll talk about it, okay? Christian families are probably, religious Christian families, I should say. Religious Christian families, okay, are just as bad, if not worse, when it comes to family secrets. Because when it comes to religious Christianity, it's all about how it looks. It's all about how the family looks to the public. It's all about we gotta look perfect. So no, Josh Duggar, you're not a child molester. We're not gonna do anything about it because, we have a reputation to uphold. Your reputation is nothing compared to the needs of your child. That's all I'm going to say. I blame the parents, and of course, I most definitely blame Josh Duggar because he's probably most likely victimized his own children as well. And the parents enabled this behavior and created a monster. One of the sisters spoke out about it and how she condemns the actions of her brother. Some of the family did come out and talk publicly about this. One of the sisters did condemn his behavior and was like, no, that's not okay. This isn't okay. You need to get help. And that's it. That's all I got for you. I cannot tell you how much I hate pedophilia. I cannot tell you how much I hate somebody who victimizes a child. I cannot tell you how much hate I harbor for people who do that stuff. And it's something that I have to spiritually take care of, and I have to go to God too. And I'm sorry I'm getting emotional over this. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry that I'm getting emotional about this. But how can you not? How can you not get emotional when you read a story or listen to a story like that? And I'm doing my best to forgive people who have done stuff like this. Because just as God forgives, I have to forgive too. And it is so hard. It is so hard because people do terrible things all the time on a daily basis wherever they're at in the world. And you hear about them in the news and you hear about them everywhere, and you immediately just want to hate them. You just immediately want to condemn them. And listen, I hate the actions, and I'm doing my best not to hate the people who do those actions, because how can you not know that it's wrong to inappropriately touch a child? How can you not know that? How can you make a conscious decision to molest a child? How can you make a conscious decision to do that? it breaks my heart every time I talk about this. This is probably one of the reasons why I refused to talk about it, because there's so much of this happening. And there's even worse people than Josh Duggar, which I am trying to get the courage up to talk about, like Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Dahmer, or not Jeffrey Dahmer, what's his name? Harvey Weinstein. Why do I always confuse those two? They're both awful people, and John Podesta. I want to be able to talk about those people, but y'all gonna have to pray for me, because if I do that, yeah, I'm just gonna need prayer. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much for listening through the emotional tirade that I ended up having towards the end of this. Just know that, yes, I believe that everybody is worthy of forgiveness, just because God forgives everyone. But it is hard because I'm a human being and I see the evils of the world, and yes, I know a lot of people have a hard time forgiving just as much as I do. And but I don't know, like I said, thank you for listening. I have to clean the house. I have to, make the house look nice. So I will see you next time in the trenches. Thank you again so much for listening. Also, shout out to India. India is now listening to me. Thank you very much for listening. I have a big heart for India. I love India. I love the people, and I also love our persecuted brothers and sisters who are going through a lot in India as well. So just know that I support India with all my heart. I support the Christians who are being persecuted in India. Just know that. So thank you very much for listening, India. All right, I will see you in the trenches next time. Thank you. Bye.